All right, guys. We're going to talk about special case inequalities. Now, you don't have to copy this down, right? As a matter of fact, don't copy it down. Let's just pay attention, listen, understand it, and then we could jot down whatever notes you feel are necessary to help you out on this. So these are special case inequalities, and I'm still hesitant. I'm not sure if I'm even going to put this on the test because it's kind of confusing, all right? And this is a little mini lesson so you could truly understand questions 7 and 8 from our worksheet that you're supposed to do tonight. Okay, so or. We already know that or implies no overlap, right? It's probably going one way, going the other way, right? So or implies no overlap. The areas are supposed to be apart most of the time. This is where it gets weird most of the time because sometimes it doesn't happen. But here's an example. X is less than negative 2. Okay, so we go to negative 2, open dot, less than is to the left. And this one, X is greater than 1. So we go to 1, open dot, greater than is to the right. And most of the time, that's what the word or implies, that the area goes this way or this way, right? Apart from each other. We all know that. And is a word that's used when you want to state the overlap. Most of the time, the areas are between two values and can be written together with X in the middle as a compound inequality. So right here, we have two inequalities with the word and between them. So X is greater than negative 3, greater than negative 3, open dot, greater than is that way. And X is less than 0, open dot, less than is that way. So this is an area that's together. The word and implies that. You want to represent the overlap. So we could connect them. Sorry, open dot, open dot. And the better answer would be to write it as a compound inequality with the X in the middle and the smaller value on the left side and the bigger value on the right side. So I'm going to do that right now. Put the X in the middle, negative 3 on the left side, 0 on the right side, and those symbols, the less than symbols, are always there when you put them in order, left being less and the right side being greater. That's all standard stuff. We should be used to that, right? We know that stuff. Let's get to some interesting special cases. Okay, so, but what if you were solving a compound inequality that was separated with the word or? Okay, imagine you got two inequalities, there's a word or in between it, and they ask you to solve it, okay? And you're doing all the math and you get your two answers. So let's say you get these answers right here. X is greater than negative 3, or, because the word or was there, you have to keep the word or in between it, or X is greater than 1. So should we write this whole thing with the word or on our answer column? Let's check it out. Let's graph to see and really understand this. X is greater than negative 3. Greater than negative 3 is that way. X is greater than 1. Greater than 1 is that way. So this is really weird because most of the time, 99.9% of the time, all the time in Algebra 1, when you see the word or, it implies that the areas are apart. Okay, but right here, they're both going the same direction. So this is where a lot of students get confused. As a matter of fact, when I first saw this, I got confused, right? And it's kind of hard to explain, so here I go. I'm going to give it my best shot. Here we go. So record me. It's already recording. Just film me. All right. So the word or implies like you could go that way or that way, right? Okay, and that makes total sense. You could go that way or you could go that way. So what if you ask me which way should I go, and I tell you, well, you could go that way or that way. That's weird, right? Now, it'd be pointless to say this. You could go that way or that way. I might as well just say that way. So I'm not going to state both. I'm just going to state this one because that's in that direction, right? But or means that it could be either or. Okay. Let's pause that. That didn't help, did it? Okay, maybe that visual wasn't the best, but how about this? If you were solving these guys, then this would be an answer or this would be an answer, right? And either one of them works, right? If you say this one or this one, it could be either one, right? So what if I told you, could the answer be negative 5? Could the answer be negative 5? No, right? Because negative 5 is not greater than negative 3, and negative 5 is not greater than 1, right? Could it be 0? Yes. Yeah. Why? Because it satisfies this one. And it does not have to satisfy both. It says or. It's either one or the other. Make sense? Okay. So when they're both pointing in the same direction, well, then just write this one down and that's it. Okay, so in this situation, you wouldn't write this entire thing on your answer column. You would just say x is greater than -3. And that's it. And that's it.
Would you get it wrong if you put x? Instead of putting -3, would put 1? Would it be wrong?
Good question. If you put both, would I mark it wrong? I probably won't even ask this on the test, but you need to understand this to make sense of questions 7 and 8 on the homework today. Check this out. What if we deal with the word and? Check it out. What if you were solving a compound inequality and it was separated with the word and? Now, and usually means that you have an area that's together, right? Together. But let's say you had an inequality, another inequality, there's a word and between it, you're solving it, and you solve it and you get two answers, all right? You get this answer right here and that answer right there with the word and between it, okay? And if you graph it, you have -3, open dot, greater than that way, and x is greater than 1, open dot, greater than that way. It's the same situation, but there's a big difference when it comes to the word and compared to or, okay? Because and implies they both have to work. It has to be an overlap, right? On the other one, either or works, but right here it's and. So on this one, it would be what? Right here, the answer would be the overlap piece. So on the or, you would say, oh, this is your answer because this encompasses both. But on the and piece, it's the overlap, right? So the and, let's do this one in blue and do this one in red. This is where the overlap is at. So this would be the one that you write down as your answer. Does that make sense? I know that's confusing. Believe me, I stayed up last night thinking of how I could explain this. But this is your answer. X is greater than 1. You don't have to write both of them. Actually, you should not write both of them. The and implies the overlap piece. Okay? So it's just the x is greater than 1. I don't know. Is there a different way I could? It's kind of like if I tell you, if you have a white shirt, stand up. All right? Or if you have a white shirt or white tennis shoes, stand up. Right? So either one works. But if I say stand up if you have a white shirt and white tennis shoes, it has to be both. It has to be an overlap piece. So when they use the word and, it has to be both of them where they overlap. It has to be both of them working at the same time, right? I hope that kind of clears it up. If you're still confused, don't even worry about it. It might not be on the test, all right? It's kind of confusing. Let's move on. This is why I'm explaining all this, so you could really understand questions 7 and 8. So if you want, take out your homework right now, and let's look at 7 and 8 together. So everybody knows that on number 7, you have some inequalities. There's a word or between it. Let's just solve them, right? Let's do it. Plus 3, new inequality, 2x is greater than 18. Then what? Divide by 2, x is greater than 9. We don't flip it. That's what we got as an answer for that one. Let's do the other one. Let's subtract 3. We will have a -7x is less than 14. Final step will be to divide by -7, and we will have x. I must flip the inequality symbol because I divided by a negative on that last step. So it's going to become greater than -2. All right, so we have those two answers. Let's say you're taking the test Friday, you have those two answers. There's a word or right here. Do I just bring the or down, put it there, and call this my answer? You have to actually go to the number line. Most of the time, you do put the or there and you're done. But this is one of those special cases that we're talking about where when you graph it, something weird happens. So let's graph it over here where they give us a number line. And wow, we don't even have that actual value, huh?
See, that's what I was saying.
Okay, my bad. All right, so let's draw our own number line to make sense of this. Draw our own number line. So we have -2 way over here, -1, 0, and I'm just going to put a 9 over here, yeah? Okay, so when I graph this guy, x is greater than 9. X is greater than is that way. And when I graph this guy right here, x is greater than negative 2, that's going to be an open dot at negative 2, and greater than is also that way. So as you could see, we have both of them pointing in the same direction. Now the question is, do I represent the overlap piece, or just do I represent the one that says it's going to the right? The one that's going to the right. You don't need the piece that's overlapping. Why not? Because it doesn't have the word and, it's the word or. Okay? So if I say you could go that way or you could go that way, well, that'd be pretty ridiculous of me saying you could go that way or that way. It's the same direction. Why not just say this as a final answer? So that is our final answer right there. X is greater than negative 2. So if you did put this, if I asked this on the test, I probably won't. But if you did put that, technically you don't have the best answer. This is the best answer right here. Okay? So this guy will not be part of your best answer. It's just x is greater than negative 2. Let's compare it with number 8. Number 8 has the word and. By the way, there was a typo. It has the plus missing right there. You might have to write down that plus. Sorry about that. So let's solve the left one. Subtract 15. Subtract 15. We have negative 5x is less than or equal to negative 15. Going to divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. We have x. Flip the inequality symbol. Positive 3. X is greater than or equal to positive 3. Now the other one, subtract 6, subtract 6. Am I working too fast? No? Okay, keep it going. 5x is greater than or equal to negative 20. Final step would be to divide by 5. Divide by 5. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. So do I just bring down the word and call that our answer? Sometimes yes, but in order for us to determine this, we need to graph it. And as a matter of fact, if the areas are pointing towards each other, we don't want to leave it like that. We should write it together with the x in the middle, smaller number on this side, bigger number on that side, and writing the appropriate compound inequality. But let's see if they're actually together or apart. And you don't even need the actual number line, but we do have the actual number line, right? Yes, we do. Okay. So number 8, x is greater than 3, greater than or equal to 3, solid dot at 3, greater than is that way. And x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Here's negative 4, solid dot, greater than is also that way. The word and implies the overlap. So where does it overlap? It doesn't overlap anywhere right here. It doesn't start overlapping till right here. So that means that my answer here is x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay. X is greater than or equal to 3. This is my answer, my only answer. That's my overlap. So for the graphed solution, you wouldn't need this one. It's just this one that's the overlap piece. I hope that makes sense. Here's another way of looking at it. Let's look at it algebraically. Okay. Let me keep that graph just for a moment longer. So that one's the x is greater than negative 4, greater than or equal to negative 4. Now remember, these guys that we got, these answers are answers to the above original compound inequality that has the word and between it. So if I were to pick any number, like right here, 0, if I pick 0, will it work for this inequality and this inequality? Or will it just work for one of them? It'll just work for one of them, right? If I plug in 0, right here, it's going to say 5 minus 0 is less than or equal to 0. It didn't work for that one, but if I plug in 0 over here, it will work for this one. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6. 6 is greater than or equal to a negative 14. So it does work on this one, it doesn't work for that one. So the word and means that when you pick a point, it has to work for this one and this one. And as you can see, only these over here will satisfy that. These won't. I don't know. That's all I got. Hopefully you guys understand some of that. Who knows, maybe one of these will be an extra credit question as opposed to a question on the test, all right?